Chess fans, welcome to Tactics Explained. In this position, white to move, pause your video and try to find motives in this position. Okay, the first motive in this position is that the knight on g4 is weak. The second motive is that as this knight is defended by the queen, we might want to think about deflecting this queen. And the third motive in this position is that this knight here can do some forks. Pause your video now and try to find the winning combination. Okay, the winning combination is rook to d6, deflecting the queen. After queen takes, taking out the weak knight, check. And after king moves, taking the rook check. And after king takes, knight fork. Okay, let's have a look at the next position. In this position, white to move, pause your video and try to find motives in this position. Okay, in this position, we have to employ two calculation techniques. The one calculation technique is forcing moves and checks, and the second calculation technique is visualization. Visualization helps us to find the motives in this position. If we move the pieces around, we see that there might be at some point a motive with mate and with the queen and the bishop. We might also find that there is a motive with a mate using knight and queen. And if we employ our visualization technique, we might also see that there is some attacks where the knight can attack the king, like this, and black can only defend by giving up the queen. And we might also see that there are a number of knight forks attacking the king and the queen. And lastly, we might also see that there is a mate with the bishop and the knight, like this. Okay. Let's go back to the initial position, pause your video and try to find the best move for white. Okay, calculation technique forcing move. Forcing moves are checks in many cases. The winning move is rook takes e7, and after king takes, queen to g7. And now the king can only move to e8, d8, and e6. And we will look at all of these moves in turn. After king d8, bishop g5 check, e8, queen e7 check. One mating motive. After king e8, knight d5, threatening mate on e7. And what can black do to defend this square? After queen d8, we are checking the king and black will lose the queen. After queen e6, trying to cover the square, we have a knight fork. And after queen d7, to cover the e7 square, we again have a knight fork. So in this position here, king d8 and king e8 don't work. Last possibility, king e6. And we are now trying to reach the last motive, which is the mate with queen, bishop, and knight. After king e7, knight d5, we have again the motive with queen and knight. So if the king tries to one way to d7, we are shepherding the king to the knight on b5. Okay, in the next position, white to move. Pause your video to find motives in this position. Okay, we will employ again a calculation technique regarding forcing moves. And one motive in the position is a back rank mate, and another motive is a pin. So pause your video to find the best move for white. Okay, the best move for white is b6 check, and the motive is that if the king moves to anywhere on the back rank, we have a mate. So king takes, only move, and now rook to h6 pins the rook, so the rook cannot move. And at the same time, the queen is pinning the rook in this direction. So if rook takes, white wins. Okay, let's have a look at the fourth position. In this position here, white to move. Pause your video and try to find motives in this position. Okay, a motive in this position is that the black queen on f4 does not really have many squares. All of the squares that the queen could go to are covered by other pieces, and the motive is catching the queen, and the best move which wins the queen is rook to g4. Okay, position number 5. White to move. Pause your video to find motives in this position. Okay, the motives are 1, threatening mate, and 2, promoting a pawn. Try to find the best move for white. Okay, the best move for white is king to f7, threatening mate on h1. So black can only either put the rook in, and then we promote the pawn, which is the second motive. Or the king can try to move up, in which case we have rook c6, and after king g5, deflecting the rook with check and promoting the pawn. If in this position here king h7, we also have rook c5 with the double threat of mate and promoting the pawn. Okay, let's have a look at position number 6. White to move. What are motives in this position, and what is the best move for white? Okay, motives in this position are a mate with 2 knights. There's also the motive of a mate with Rook and Knight, and a calculation technique that we want to employ is the move comparison. Once we have 2 good moves, only one might win. So the best move for white is rook takes e5 check, and now if knight takes, we mate with 2 knights. If the bishop goes in between, we simply take out and win. So the only move is pawn takes, and after knight f6, only move knight takes, we mate with knight and rook. So in this position here, a move comparison might be important if you were thinking of knight to f6. because after knight takes, now rook takes e5. Might have led you to the same conclusion. But the problem in this position is that black has bishop to e7. And if we play rook takes e5 first, black does not have bishop to e7 because the knight is blocking the way for the queen to protect the bishop. So even though you might see all motives in this position here, you have to compare moves to see that only rook e5 check wins. Okay, let's have a look at the next position. Position number 7. Pause your video to find motives in this position here and the best move for white. Okay, motives in this position are Zugzwang, promoting a pawn, mate, and an X-ray attack. Try to find the best move for white. Okay, the best move for white is queen to f5. And we have reached a Zugzwang position because there's not really much that black can do. If black plays f6, we give mate. The same after queen to g6, mate. The queen cannot move to any of the squares here because it would simply be taken out. And after queen h8, we have the motive of an X-ray attack. So in this position here, black can really only play c5, but then black has no way of stopping the promotion of the e-pawn, and white wins. Okay, position number 8. White to move. Find motives in this position. Okay, we need 3 motives in this position. Motive 1 is a pin. Motive 2 is a deflection. And motive 3 again is pawn promotion. Pause your video to find the best move with these motives. Okay, the motive is rook to h5. Pinning the rook to the king, so the rook can now not take this pawn, but instead takes out the rook. And we have deflected the rook that was performing the function of being ready to swing over and stop these pawns from promoting. And now after pawn takes e7, rook to e5 does not stop this pawn from promoting. But if the rook would still be on h6, the rook could now take this pawn, and if white in the next move promotes the pawn, take out the queen. So by rook to h5, we have deflected this rook. Okay, position number 9. Pause your video to find motives in this position. Okay, motives in this position are that this knight on b5 is a loose piece that's not protected, and this is a tactical liability. And the second motive is removing a defender. Pause your video to try to find the best move for black. Okay, the best move for black is rook to f6. And if the rook moves away, we have removed the threat of knight f8. And in this position here, whatever white moves, the back pieces coordinate so well that in the next move we can attack the knight, and the knight does not have any squares to go to, and black wins the knight and the game. Okay, Last position, position number 10. Find motives in this position for black to move. Okay, the motives in this position are a loose piece on c4 again. Second motive is clearing a path to attack this piece. And the third motive is threatening mate. Pause your video to find the best move for black. Okay, the best move for black is bishop takes knight. White cannot take with the queen because the rook would take the queen. So if white doesn't want to lose a piece, has to take. And we have cleared the path of the queen to attack the knight on c4, which is loose a little bit. And now we can clear it even more because g3 has the double function of threatening mate and attacking the knight on c4. And after h takes g3, black wins the knight. If in this position here white were to ignore this threat and, for example, play knight takes e5, black can play g takes f, and after king to f1, promote and win the game. Okay, thanks for watching.